The first thing Jake Morrison felt was cold. Not the sharp bite of winter air, but a deep, bone-deep cold that seemed to come from inside his very soul. His eyelids felt heavy, like they were made of lead, but something deep in his mind was telling him to wake up now. Slowly his eyes opened. The world around him was dim and filled with a soft blue light. Strange symbols moved across screens he could barely see. His throat felt dry as sand, and when he tried to speak, only a rough whisper came out. "Systems online," a calm voice said from somewhere above him. "Captain Morrison, your vital signs are stable. Welcome back." Jake tried to sit up, but his muscles felt weak and shaky. The voice belonged to Aria, the artificial intelligence that had been watching over them during their long sleep. How long had it been? His memory was foggy, like trying to remember a dream. "Aria," he managed to croak. "How long?" 870,000 years, Captain. The awakening protocols have been activated. The galaxy is now considered safe for human emergence. 870,000 years. The number hit Jake like a physical blow. Everything he had known, everyone he had loved who stayed behind on Earth, was gone. Dust scattered across the stars by now. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath, trying to push away the grief that threatened to overwhelm him. Around him, other pods were beginning to open. Soft hissing sounds filled the air as the cryogenic system slowly brought his people back to life. Jake forced himself to sit up, then stand on unsteady legs. As captain, he needed to be strong for them. Dr. Lisa Carter was in the pod next to his. She was already sitting up, her dark hair plastered to her head with condensation from the freezing process. Her eyes were wide as she stared at the screens showing data from across the galaxy. "Jake," she whispered, "look at this." The screens showed star maps, but they were different from what Jake remembered. New structures dotted the galaxy like glowing spider webs. Massive space stations orbited stars that had been empty when they went to sleep. Ships moved along trade routes that crossed thousands of light years. "The galaxy is inhabited," Lisa said, her voice full of wonder and fear. "Heavily inhabited." More pods were opening now. Colonel Ryan Davis emerged from his pod like a soldier, ready for battle, even after nearly 1,000,000 years of sleep. His gray eyes immediately took in their surroundings, looking for threats. Amy Brooks, their chief engineer, was already at a computer terminal, her fingers flying over the controls as she checked their systems. "Aria, report," Jake said, his voice getting stronger. "What has happened while we slept?" The IS voice filled the chamber. 7 major species now control the galaxy. They call themselves the Galactic Concord. They have divided all inhabited space between them and maintain a complex system of trade and diplomacy. Images appeared on the main screen. The first showed beings made of living crystal, their bodies reflecting light in beautiful patterns. The second showed creatures that looked like giant insects working together in perfect harmony. Others followed, beings of pure energy, mechanical creatures with glowing eyes, fish-like aliens swimming through the air, cloud-like entities that shifted and changed shape, and plant creatures that moved like walking trees. The Zethkari Veltar, Lumway, Kordun, Myrthul, Aronox, and Sylvani, Aria continued. Each species controls roughly 1/7 of the galaxy. They have maintained peace for over 300,000 years. "And humans?" Jake asked, though he already feared the answer. According to galactic records, humanity is extinct. Earth is listed as a dead world of archaeological interest only. Several expeditions have studied the ruins of human cities, but no living humans have been found. The chamber fell silent, except for the soft sounds of more people awakening. Jake looked around at his people, 50,000 souls who represented all that remained of humanity. They were alone in a galaxy full of strangers. Amy Brooks looked up from her computer. "Captain, I have good news and bad news." "The good news." is that our technology still works perfectly. Our quantum generators have been maintaining themselves and even improving our systems while we slept. The bad news is that we are completely off the grid. No one knows we exist. That might be the best news of all, Colonel Davis said grimly. If they think we are extinct, we have the advantage of surprise. More people were gathering now. Scientists, engineers, soldiers, teachers, doctors, and farmers. All the people they had thought they would need to build a new world somewhere, far from Earth, but they had never planned for this. They had never imagined they would wake up to find themselves alone among aliens. Dr. Carter was studying the data about the alien species. Jake, look at this. Each of these species seems to have developed in isolation. They are highly specialized. But that also means they have limitations. The crystal beings cannot function in certain types of radiation. The hive mind insects become confused when separated from their queens. The mechanical ones depend on central computer networks. What are you thinking, Lisa? Jake asked. I am thinking that being human might be an advantage. We adapt, we change. We find new ways to solve problems. These species seem to have found one way to live and stuck with it for hundreds of thousands of years. Lieutenant Ben Taylor approached their group. He was young, but Jake trusted his judgment. Captain, should we try to contact them? Let them know we are here? Jake looked around at his people. Some were still weak from their long sleep. Others were checking weapons and equipment. Engineers were running diagnostics on their systems. Everyone was looking to him for answers he did not have. Not yet, he decided. Arya, what can you tell us about their military capabilities? Each species maintains defense forces, but they have not fought a major war in 200,000 years. Their weapons and tactics appear to be designed for specific threats rather than adaptable. Combat. They also seem to have forgotten how to fight an unknown enemy. Amy Brooks smiled grimly. While they were playing politics, our automated systems were still improving our technology. Captain, I think we might be more advanced than any of them realize. We need more information, Jake said. We need to know everything about these species before we reveal ourselves. Lisa, I want you to study everything Arya has learned about them. Find their strengths and weaknesses. Ryan, prepare scouting missions. We need to observe them without being seen. Amy, get our manufacturing systems online. We might need new ships and equipment. What about the people? Asked Dr. Green, the team psychologist. They are scared and confused. They need hope. Jake looked out at the faces around him. These people had left everything behind to follow him to the stars. They had trusted him to keep them safe through the long journey. Now they were awake in a galaxy that did not even know they existed. Tell them the truth, he said. We are the last humans in the galaxy. We are surrounded by alien civilizations that think we are dead. But we are alive, we are smart, and we are not going to hide forever. We are going to find our place among the stars, and we are going to make sure humanity never disappears again. As his people began to disperse to their tasks, Jake stayed at the main screen, looking out at the star maps that showed a galaxy full of strangers. They had slept for nearly 1,000,000 years, but their greatest adventure was just beginning. The galaxy thought humanity was extinct, but they were about to learn how wrong they were. The awakening was complete. Now the real work would begin. 3 weeks after the awakening, Dr. Lisa Carter sat in her laboratory surrounded by screens full of alien data. Her eyes were red from lack of sleep, but she could not stop reading. Every piece of information about the 7 alien species was fascinating and terrifying at the same time. Arya, show me the Zeth-Kari communication patterns again, she said. The AI displayed complex waveforms on her screen. The crystal beings communicated through vibrations that traveled through their crystalline bodies. Lisa had been studying these patterns for days, and she was beginning to see something important. They are beautiful, she whispered, but they have a problem. Captain Jake Morrison entered the lab, carrying 2 cups of coffee. Real coffee, made from beans they had brought from Earth nearly 1,000,000 years ago. The taste was one of the few comforts they still had from their old home. What kind of problem? Jake asked, handing her a cup. Lisa pointed to the screen. Their communication system is incredibly advanced, but it has a weakness. Look at these frequency patterns. If you disrupt them at exactly the right pitch, their entire network goes silent. They become deaf to each other. Jake studied the data. How do you know this? I ran computer simulations. Their bodies are like living musical instruments. Hit the wrong note, and they cannot hear anything else. Lisa switched to another screen. And that is not the only weakness I have found. She showed him data about the Veltar, the insect-like hive mind species. These creatures share thoughts through their queens. But if you separate a group from their queen, they cannot make decisions. They literally do not know how to think for themselves. Jake sipped his coffee and nodded. What about the others? The Lumway are beings of pure energy. Very powerful, but they need special containers to interact with the physical world. Destroy. They're containment suits, and they cannot touch anything. The Cordon are machines, but they are all connected to central computers. Take out the computers, and they shut down. Lisa pulled up more data. The Murthel can only survive in water or special breathing apparatus. The Aeronox are gas clouds that cannot hold solid objects. The Sylvani are plant creatures that need sunlight and soil nutrients. They are all specialists, Jake said quietly. Each species is perfect at one thing, but weak at everything else. Exactly, and look at this. Lisa showed him historical data. For 300,000 years, they have not had to adapt to new threats. They have become set in their ways. They know how to deal with each other, but they would not know how to handle something completely different. Jake smiled grimly. Something like humans. A soft chime sounded, and Colonel Ryan Davis entered the lab. His uniform was clean and pressed, but his face showed the strain of the past weeks. Captain, Lieutenant Taylor is ready to report from his scouting mission. The 3 of them walked to the command center, where Ben Taylor waited with his team. The young lieutenant looked excited and nervous at the same time. What did you find, Ben? Jake asked. Sir, we have been watching the Zethkari system for 2 weeks. They are incredible, but Dr. Carter is right about their weaknesses. We saw one of their mining operations shut down completely when a solar flare disrupted their communication frequencies. Taylor activated a holographic display showing crystal cities floating in space. They are artists and philosophers, Captain. Everything they build is beautiful, but not very practical. Their ships are works of art, but their weapons are designed for ceremony, not war. Sergeant Kate Sullivan stepped forward. We also observed the Veltar, sir. They are efficient, but they panic without their queens. We watched a work crew shut down for 6 hours when they lost contact with their hive. They just stood there, waiting for orders. Jake nodded. What about their technology? Advanced but predictable, Taylor replied. They have been using the same designs for thousands of years. No innovation, no improvement. They found something that worked and never changed it. Amy Brooks entered the command center, her hands covered in grease from working on their manufacturing systems. Captain, I have been studying their ship designs from the data we collected. Their technology is impressive, but it has serious flaws. She pulled up technical drawings on the main screen. Look at this Cordon battleship. It has incredible firepower, but all its systems are controlled by a single computer core. Take out that core, and the entire ship is helpless. What about their weapons? Colonel Davis asked. Powerful, but specialized. The Zethkari use sound weapons that are deadly to most species, but they would not work against something that could adapt to different frequencies. The Veltar use swarm tactics that are perfect against other organized armies, but they would be confused by irregular fighters. Amy switched to another display. The Lumway have energy weapons that can destroy anything, but they need time to charge. The Myrthul use water-based attacks that are useless in dry environments. The Aeronox use gas weapons that only work in enclosed spaces. The Sylvani use biological weapons that take time to grow. Jake studied the information. So each species has weapons that are perfect against specific targets, but useless against others. Exactly. And none of them have fought a war in 200,000 years. They have forgotten how to fight an enemy that fights back. Dr. Carter looked up from her datapad. There is something else, Jake. I have been studying their historical records. They call themselves the Galactic Concord, but it is more like a business partnership than a government. They trade with each other and share resources, but they do not really trust each other. What do you mean? The Lumway think the Veltar are primitive. The Kordun think organic species are inefficient. The Myrthul think air breathers are weak. They cooperate because they have to, not because they want to. Jake walked to the main screen and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, 7 alien civilizations were going about their daily lives, never knowing that humans were watching them. They thought humanity was extinct, just ancient history in their databanks. Amy, how are our new ships coming along? He asked. Better than expected, Captain. Our automated factories have been improving our designs while we slept. The new scouts are faster and more stealthy than anything in the galaxy. They can change their appearance to look like asteroids or space debris. Good, then, I want you to expand the scouting missions. I want to know everything about these species. How they live, how they think, what they fear. Kate, I want you to study their military procedures. Learn how they fight, how they defend themselves. What about first contact, sir? Lieutenant Taylor asked. When do we reveal ourselves? Jake was quiet for a long moment. Not yet. We have one advantage right now. They do not know we exist. Once we reveal ourselves, we lose that advantage forever. We need to be ready. Ready for what? Dr. Carter asked. For anything. If we are going to survive in this galaxy, we need to be smarter and stronger than any of them. We need to understand them better than they understand themselves. Colonel Davis nodded. What if they discover us before we are ready? Then we make sure they underestimate us. Let them think we are just another species trying to find our place in their galaxy. Let them think we are weak and primitive. When they finally realize what we really are, it will be too late. Amy Brooks smiled. The galaxy thinks humanity is extinct. But we are not just alive. We are better than we ever were. Jake looked around at his team. These people had been sleeping for nearly 1,000,000 years, but they were adapting to their new reality faster than any alien species could imagine. They were human, and that meant they could change, grow, and overcome any challenge. Keep watching, he told them. Keep learning. And keep building. The galaxy is about to learn that humanity is not extinct. We are just getting started. Outside the station, stars twinkled in the endless dark of space. 7 alien civilizations ruled the galaxy, comfortable in their ancient ways. But humanity was awake now, and everything was about to change. 6 months had passed since humanity awakened. Commander Alex Stone sat in the pilot seat of the scout ship Wanderer, watching a violent storm tear through space. Lightning made of pure energy crackled between cosmic dust clouds and gravitational waves twisted reality itself. Arya, are you detecting that distress signal? Alex asked. Confirmed, Commander. Myrthul research vessel, designation Deep Current. Their engines are failing. They will not survive the storm. Alex could see the alien ship on his screen. It looked like a giant fish made of metal and glass, designed to swim through space like water. But now it was spinning helplessly, its beautiful fins torn by the cosmic winds. Orders were to observe only, Alex muttered to himself. But he had been a rescue pilot before the long sleep. Some habits died hard. He opened a channel to Haven Station. "Captain Morrison, this is Stone. I have a situation." Jake's voice came through clearly. "What is it, Alex?" "Myrtle's ship in distress. I can save them, but it means first contact." "Your call, sir." There was a long pause. Alex could imagine the discussion happening back at the station. Dr. Carter would be analyzing the risks. Colonel Davis would be checking tactical implications. Amy Brooks would be worried about their technology being discovered. "Save them," Jake said finally. "But be careful what you reveal." Alex smiled and pushed his ship toward the storm. The Wanderer was small but incredibly advanced. Its hull could adapt to any environment. Its engines could push through forces that would destroy other ships. And I could calculate solutions to problems in seconds. The storm hit him like a wall of force. Other ships would have been torn apart, but the Wanderer bent and twisted, riding the energy waves like a surfer. Alex had trained for this, but the ship's systems made it possible. "Myrtle vessel, this is Commander Stone of the ship Wanderer. Do you need assistance?" The reply came in a series of whistles and clicks that his translation software quickly decoded. "Unknown vessel, we are dying. Our engines cannot handle the storm. Please help us." Alex maneuvered closer to the alien ship. Through the transparent sections, he could see the Myrtle crew. They looked like dolphins that had grown arms and learned to use tools. They were beautiful creatures, but right now they were terrified. "I am going to attach a tow cable to your ship. Do not resist. We understand, but be careful. The storm is getting worse." Alex locked onto the Myrtle ship with a magnetic beam that could hold through anything. Then he fired his engines and pulled both ships away from the storm. The Wanderer strained under the load, but it held. 20 minutes later, they were in calm space. The Myrtle ship was badly damaged but safe. Alex could see the aliens through their viewing ports, swimming excitedly through the water that filled their ship. "Commander Stone, we owe you our lives. What species are you? We do not recognize your ship design." Alex had prepared for this moment. "I represent a young species. We are new to this part of the galaxy." "Young species? How interesting." "We are scientists from the Myrtle Research Institute. I am Dr. Coral Wave. Would you be willing to meet face to face?" Alex looked at his environmental suit. It was designed to work in any atmosphere, even underwater. "I would be honored." An hour later, Alex floated in a water-filled chamber aboard the Myrtle ship. The aliens swam around him in graceful circles, their dolphin-like bodies shimmering with bioluminescent patterns that showed their emotions. Dr. Coral Wave was older than the others, her skin marked with scars from deep-sea research. "Your technology is remarkable, Commander Stone. We have never seen adaptive hull plating like yours." "We are good at solving problems," Alex said carefully. "It comes naturally to us." "What do you call your species?" Alex paused. This was the moment of truth. "We call ourselves humans." The Myrtle exchanged whistles and clicks. Their translation device worked both ways, so Alex could understand them. "Humans? There is no record of humans in the Galactic Concord database." "We are new," Alex repeated. "We have been exploring space for only a short time." Dr. Coral Wave's patterns shifted to show curiosity. "Your ship suggests otherwise. The technology is incredibly advanced. Some of it appears to be beyond anything the Concord has developed." Alex chose his words carefully. "Different species develop in different ways. We focus on adaptation and problem-solving rather than specialization." "Fascinating. Would your people be willing to share knowledge with the Concord? We could offer much in return." "Perhaps, but we prefer to move slowly. We want to understand the galaxy before we make commitments." The mirthful scientist nodded, a gesture her species had learned from others. Wise, the galaxy can be dangerous for newcomers. There are many rules, many old agreements. Some species in the Concord are not welcoming to new members. This was exactly the kind of information Alex needed. What kind of problems? The Cordon believe that only mechanical intelligence is truly efficient. They see organic species as flawed. The Lemway think that energy beings are superior to matter-based life. The Veltar only trust species that think collectively. Doctor. Coral Wave swam closer. But there are others who would welcome new ideas. My people value knowledge above all else. The Sylvani appreciate those who work with nature. The Aronnax enjoy philosophical discussions with new minds. And the Zethkari? They love beauty and art. If your people create beautiful things, they would be very interested. Alex nodded. We create many things. Some might be considered beautiful. I must report this encounter to the Research Institute. They will want to study your species and your technology. Would you be willing to meet with other scientists? In time, perhaps. But we are cautious people. We have learned that it is better to understand before acting. Dr. Coral Wave's patterns showed approval. Very wise. Many species rush into relationships and regret it later. Take your time. Learn about us as we learn about you. 3 hours later, Alex was back aboard the Wanderer, heading home to Haven Station. His head was full of new information about galactic politics and alien psychology. But more importantly, he had established humanity's first official contact with the galaxy. Captain Morrison, this is Stone reporting in. Good to hear from you, Alex. How did it go? Better than expected, sir. The Myrthul are scientists and researchers. They respect knowledge and careful thinking. They are not aggressive, and they seem genuinely interested in learning about new species. What did you tell them about us? That we are a young species that values adaptation and problem solving. I did not reveal our true capabilities or our history. They know we are called humans, but they think we are newcomers to space travel. Jake's voice was pleased. Perfect. What did you learn about the others? The galaxy is not as united as it appears, Captain. There are factions within the Concord. Some species look down on others. Some are more welcoming to newcomers than others. Political divisions we can use. Exactly. Dr. Coral Wave mentioned that news of our existence will spread quickly through their research networks. We should expect contact from other species soon. Back at Haven Station, Jake sat with his senior staff. Discussing Alex's report, Dr. Carter was excited about the scientific possibilities. Colonel Davis was analyzing the military implications. Amy Brooks was worried about technology security. This changes everything, Lisa said. We are no longer hidden observers. We are players in galactic politics. The question is, what kind of players do we want to be? Jake asked. Colonel Davis leaned forward. We have advantages they do not know about. Our technology is superior. Our thinking is more flexible, and we can adapt faster than any of them. We should use those advantages, but carefully, Amy added. If they realize how advanced we really are, they might see us as a threat. Jake nodded. Alex handled it perfectly. We are a young species with unusual technology. We are cautious and willing to learn. We are not threatening, just interesting. Dr. Carter pulled up data on her screen. The Myrthul will report to their research institute. The institute will share the information with other scientific organizations. Within weeks, all 7 species will know that humans exist. Then we need to be ready for more contact, Jake decided. But we stick to the same story. We are new, we are careful, and we are willing to learn. Let them underestimate us. What about an embassy? Amy asked. If we are going to deal with all these species, we need a neutral location. Jake smiled. I have been thinking about that. Aria found records of several independent trading stations that are not controlled by any single species. We could establish our first official presence at one of those. Who would represent us? Colonel Davis asked. Someone who understands diplomacy and can think fast when surprised. Someone who can seem friendly and harmless while gathering intelligence. Jake looked around the room at his team. They had awakened to find themselves alone in a galaxy full of strangers. But they were not hiding anymore. They were beginning to take their place among the stars. The galaxy knows we exist now, he said. Let us make sure they remember us for all the right reasons. Chief Engineer Tony Marshall stood before a gathering of the galaxy's greatest minds. The meeting hall on Nexus Station was filled with representatives from all 7 species of the Galactic Concord. Crystal beams glowed softly in one section, while gas clouds swirled in specially designed containers nearby. Fish like Myrtle swam in suspended water bubbles, and plant creatures rustled their leaves in the artificial breeze. It had been 3 months since humanity revealed itself to the galaxy. What started as a simple rescue mission had grown into something much bigger. The aliens were fascinated by these new beings called humans, and they wanted to know everything about human technology. Distinguished beings, Tony began, his voice carried by translation devices to every species present. I want to thank you for this opportunity to share knowledge. My people believe that understanding grows when we learn from each other. Dr. Coral Wave, the Myrtle scientist who had first met Commander Stone, floated forward in her water sphere. Engineer Marshall, we are most curious about your adaptive hull technology. Our finest engineers cannot understand how your ships change their structure so quickly. Tony smiled. He had been preparing for this question. The secret is not in the materials, but in how we think about problems. Your ships are designed to do one thing perfectly. Our ships are designed to change and adapt. He activated a holographic display showing the basic principles of human ship design. We do not try to make the perfect ship. We make ships that can become perfect for any situation. A Cordon machine being rolled forward on mechanical legs. Its voice was flat and electronic. This is inefficient. Specialization creates optimal performance. Adaptation creates compromise. Does it? Tony asked. He showed a simulation of 2 ships facing the same asteroid field. Your specialized mining ship cuts through rocks with perfect precision. But what happens when the rocks are a different type of mineral? The simulation showed the alien ship struggling with a new material. Now watch our ship. The human ship in the simulation began to change. Its cutting tools shifted and modified themselves. Within minutes, it was cutting through the new rocks as efficiently as the first. Adaptation is not compromise, Tony explained. It is preparation for the unexpected. The crystal being called Resonance Crystal spoke, its voice like wind chimes. Your technology suggests knowledge of material science beyond our current understanding. How long has your species been studying these principles? This was the dangerous question. Tony had to be careful not to reveal too much about humanity's true history. We have been developing these ideas for many generations. My people have always been curious about making things work better. Dr. Lisa Carter, who was attending as humanity's chief scientist, stepped forward. If I may add something. Engineer Marshall, our approach to science is different from yours. We do not separate different fields of study. We combine physics, chemistry, biology, and engineering into unified solutions. She activated her own display showing a human medical scanner. This device can detect diseases, analyze genetic structures, and even repair damaged tissue. It combines technologies that most species keep separate. The Aeronax representative, a swirling cloud of gas in a containment suit, spoke with a voice like whispers. Remarkable. Our medical technology requires different devices for each function. Your single device appears to do the work of dozens, because we think differently, Lisa explained. We do not ask what is the best way to do this specific task. We ask what are all the ways this task connects to other tasks, and how can we solve many problems at once. A Sylvani plant being swayed forward, its wooden voice creaking like old trees. This philosophy is interesting, but surely it creates devices that are less efficient than our specialized tools. Tony activated another display. Let me show you something that might surprise you. The hologram showed data from recent experiments. Human tools were not just as efficient as alien specialized equipment, they were often more efficient. When you design a tool to do one job perfectly, you waste energy on features that job does not need. When you design a tool to adapt, you only use the energy you actually need. The audience fell silent. This was not what they had expected to. Here, the Lumway energy being, contained in a glowing sphere, pulsed with curiosity. You claim your adaptive tools are more efficient than our specialized designs. This contradicts fundamental principles of engineering. Does it? Tony asked. Or does it show that your fundamental principles are incomplete? Dr. Carter pulled up another display. We would like to share some research that might interest you. We have discovered methods to stabilize dying stars using adaptive energy manipulation. The reaction was immediate. Every species represented had lost star systems to stellar collapse. It was one of the galaxy's greatest unsolved problems. Impossible, the Cordon machine declared. We have calculated this problem for millennia. Stellar collapse cannot be prevented once it begins. You are correct, Lisa said calmly. It cannot be prevented using any single method. But it can be prevented using multiple methods working together. She showed them the theory. Instead of trying to stop stellar collapse with one massive intervention, humans had developed a system that used hundreds of small interventions. Each one was too small to stop the collapse alone, but together they could stabilize even the most unstable stars. This is revolutionary, Dr. Coral wave-breathed. If this works, it could save billions of lives. It does work, Lisa said. We have already stabilized 3 dying stars in uninhabited systems as tests. The results exceeded our calculations. Tony could see the wheels turning in every alien mind present. This was not just advanced technology. This was a completely different way of thinking about technology. There is more, he said, knowing he was about to drop the biggest revelation yet. We have also solved the quantum communication problem. The silence was deafening. Every species in the galaxy depended on the quantum beacon network, controlled by the Cordon. It was slow, limited, and often unreliable, but it was the only method of faster-than-light communication anyone had discovered. Show us, the Cordon machine demanded. Tony activated a device that looked deceptively simple. This is a quantum field manipulator. Instead of sending signals through quantum beacons, it creates temporary quantum tunnels between any 2 points in space. He demonstrated by opening a communication channel with Haven Station, which was 30 light-years away. The connection was instant and crystal clear. Impossible, the Lumway energy being pulsed. Quantum tunneling requires massive amounts of energy, only if you try to force it, Tony explained. We do not force the quantum field, we ask it to help us. Dr. Carter stepped forward again. This brings us to the most important point we want to share today. All of your species have been thinking about the universe as something to be conquered or controlled. We think about it as something to work with. She showed them examples of human terraforming technology that worked with planetary ecosystems instead of replacing them. She showed them energy systems that borrowed power from natural sources instead of generating it by force. She showed them manufacturing techniques that grew products instead of building them. You are not just technologically advanced, Resonance Crystal observed. You think about technology in ways we have never considered. That is because we had to, Tony said. Our species has faced many challenges. We learn to adapt or die. We learn to work with the universe instead of fighting it. The Veltar. Queen, who had been silent until now, spoke through her drones. These concepts are difficult for us to understand. Our hive mind seeks efficiency through specialization. Your approach seems chaotic. It is not chaotic, Lisa explained gently. It is complex. Chaos is random. Complexity is organized in ways that are not immediately obvious. Tony could see that some of the aliens were beginning to understand, while others were struggling with concepts that went against everything they had believed for millennia. Amy Brooks, who had been quiet during the presentation, finally spoke. There is something else you should know. Everything we have shown you today is basic technology for us. We have much more advanced capabilities that we have not yet revealed. The implications of this statement hit the audience like a physical blow. If this was basic human technology, what were their advanced capabilities? Dr. Coral Wave found her voice first. How advanced are your people, really? Tony and Lisa exchanged glances. They had been instructed to be honest, but not to reveal everything. Advanced enough to solve most of the problems that have troubled the galaxy for millennia, Tony said. Carefully. But we prefer to share knowledge slowly, to make sure everyone can understand and benefit. You are being diplomatic, the Cordon machine observed. You are far more advanced than you are admitting. We are cautious, Lisa corrected. We have learned that too much change too quickly can be dangerous. We want to help, not disrupt. The Air_Knox representative whispered, "What do you want from U.S.? Species with such advanced technology usually want something in return." Tony looked around the room at all the alien faces, mechanical sensors, and energy patterns focused on him. We want to belong. We want to be part of something larger than ourselves. We want to help make the galaxy a better place for everyone. The alert came at 03:00 hours, station time. Captain Jake Morrison was pulled from sleep by flashing red lights, and the urgent voice of Arya echoing through Haven Station. Captain Morrison, emergency situation developing in the galactic core. Ancient defense systems are activating. Multiple Concord fleets are requesting immediate assistance. Jake pulled on his uniform and ran to the command center. Colonel Ryan Davis was already there, studying tactical displays that showed a nightmare scenario unfolding across dozens of star systems. Report, Colonel. Sir, something has triggered ancient automated weapons in the galactic core. The systems appear to be left over from a civilization that vanished millions of years ago. They are attacking anything that enters their territory. Jake studied the displays. Massive geometric shapes moved through space, firing weapons that tore through alien ships like paper. The technology was unlike anything the current galaxy had seen. Casualties? Heavy, sir. The Cordon sent 3 battle fleets. Only 1 ship survived. The Lumway lost an entire energy collective. The other species are afraid to send more ships. Dr. Lisa Carter entered the command center, her tablet full of analysis data. Jake, I have been studying the ancient systems. The technology is definitely human in origin, but incredibly advanced. Far beyond anything we have. Human? Jake stared at her. How is that possible? Remember the historical records Arya showed us when we first woke up. There were hints that some human groups left the galaxy before the Great Exodus. I think these defenses were built by our own people, millions of years ago. Amy Brooks joined them, her face grim. Captain, we are receiving communication requests from every species in the Concord. They want our help. Jake looked around at his team. 3 months ago, they had been unknown survivors hiding in the dark. Now the galaxy was asking them to save everyone from an ancient threat. Can we handle those defense systems? Lisa nodded slowly. I think so. The technology is human, which means it follows human thinking patterns. But it will be dangerous. These systems were designed to defend against massive invasion fleets. "Sir," Lieutenant Ben Taylor burst into the command center. "The Concord representatives are demanding to meet with you immediately. They are scared." An hour later, Jake stood before the emergency session of the Galactic Concord. The usual political formalities were gone. Fear had replaced diplomacy. "Captain Morrison," Dr. Coral Wave spoke for the group, "our fleets cannot penetrate the ancient defenses. Our weapons have no effect. Our best tacticians cannot predict their movements. We need your help." The Corden representative rolled forward on damaged mechanical legs. "Our analysis indicates the attacking systems use technology similar to yours. You must have knowledge of how to stop them." Jake chose his words carefully. "We will help, but you need to understand something first. These defense systems were built by humans, our people, but from long ago." The silence that followed was profound. "Impossible, the Lumway energy being pulsed. Humans are a young species. You told us. You were new to space travel." "We told you we were new to this part of the galaxy," Jake corrected. "We never said we were new to space travel." Dr. Carter stepped forward with a holographic display. "The truth is that humanity has been traveling among the stars for millions of years. Some of our people left this galaxy long ago to explore other dimensions and other realities. These defense systems were left behind to protect something important." "What are they protecting?" the Sylvani asked, its wooden voice creaking with worry. "We do not know yet," Jake admitted. "But we intend to find out, and we will stop the attacks." "How can you be certain?" Resonance Crystal chimed. "Because they will recognize us as human. The systems are attacking you because you are seen as invaders, but we are family." Jake turned to address the entire assembly. "However, we cannot do this alone. We need ships, resources, and the cooperation of all 7 species. This threat affects everyone, so everyone must help." The Veltar Queen spoke through her drones. "What do you require?" Colonel Davis activated a tactical display. "We need a combined fleet. Not just ships, but the best minds from each species. Human technology will get us through the defenses, but we will need all types of thinking to understand what we find." "You want us to trust you with our most advanced ships and our greatest scientists?" the Corden machine questioned. "Yes," Jake said simply. "Because the alternative is that these ancient systems continue to expand their territory until they destroy everything in the galaxy." Amy Brooks stepped forward. "There is something else you need to know. Our analysis suggests that these systems were not meant to be permanent defenses. They were designed to activate only when a specific threat returned to the galaxy." "What threat?" Dr. Coral Wave asked. "We do not know. But something scared our ancestors badly enough that they left behind automated weapons capable of destroying entire fleets." The debate continued for hours, but fear won over suspicion. Within 2 days, the largest combined fleet in galactic history was assembled. Ships from all 7 species joined human vessels in a formation that had never been seen before. Captain Nick Foster commanded the human flagship Unity, while Captain Maria Rodriguez led the Scout Wing. The alien commanders had agreed to follow human tactical leadership, a decision that would have been impossible just weeks earlier. As the fleet approached the galactic core, the ancient defenses activated. Geometric shapes the size of asteroids emerged from hidden positions, their weapons charging with power that made space itself bend. "All ships, this is Captain Morrison," Jake broadcast to the entire fleet. "Remember, we are not here to fight. We are here to communicate." The first contact came when a massive diamond-shaped defense platform focused its weapons on the combined fleet. But instead of firing, Jake opened a communication channel using old human protocols that Aria had found in their historical databases. "Ancient Guardians, this is Captain Jake Morrison of the human vessel Unity. We are the children of those who created you. We have returned home. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the defense platform's weapons powered down. A voice answered, speaking in ancient human language that was barely recognizable. Children of the builders, you have been long away. Why do you return now? Because the galaxy needs us. And because we are ready to learn what you were left to protect. The defense systems began to withdraw, creating a corridor through the core systems. As the fleet moved forward, they discovered something incredible. At the heart of the galaxy was a massive structure, clearly built by advanced humans millions of years ago. It was part research station, part library, and part gateway to other dimensions. Dr. Carter was the first to understand what they had found. Jake, this is not just a base. It is a repository of human knowledge from across the galaxy's history. And that is not all. She pointed to energy readings that showed dimensional portals still active. The humans who built this did not die or disappear. They went somewhere else. And they left this place as a way for their descendants to follow them when they were ready. The alien representatives were amazed as they explored the ancient human facility. Technology beyond their understanding filled every corridor. Libraries contained the knowledge of civilizations that had existed before their species had evolved. Your people built all this? Resonance Crystal asked in wonder. Our ancestors did, Jake replied. But they also left it for all of us. This knowledge belongs to everyone in the galaxy now. Captain Foster found something even more remarkable in the station's core. Captain Morrison, you need to see this. There are messages. Recent ones. The holographic displays activated, showing recordings left by the dimensional explorers. They had been watching the galaxy, waiting for humanity to return and for the local species to mature enough to handle advanced knowledge. Children of Earth. The messages said, you have done well. You have awakened not just as humans, but as leaders. The galaxy is ready for the next phase of its growth. Use what you find here wisely. Ambassador Helen Foster, who had been working with galactic diplomats, stepped forward. What happens now? Jake looked around at the faces surrounding him. Aliens and humans worked together, sharing knowledge that would benefit everyone. The ancient fears and suspicions were melting away as they realized what they could accomplish. Together, now we build something new, he said. Not just the Galactic Concord, but a true alliance. Humans bring the knowledge of our ancestors. Each of your species brings unique strengths. Together, we can solve problems that none of us could handle alone. Dr. Coral Wave swam excitedly in her water sphere. A new galactic alliance, with humans as guides rather than rulers. Not guides, Jake corrected. Partners, the galaxy does. Not need human rulers. It needs human thinking combined with Cordon efficiency, Myrtle wisdom, Zefkari artistry, Veltar cooperation, Lumway energy, Air_Nox philosophy, and Sylvani patience. The creation of the new galactic alliance took months of negotiation, but the foundation was built in that moment. Humanity had awakened to find themselves alone among strangers, but they were ending as leaders among friends. As the combined fleet prepared to return to their home systems, long-range sensors detected something new. Signals from the edge of the galaxy in patterns that were definitely human, but more advanced than anything the current galaxy possessed.